What's up, you diehards, you degenerates, you lovers of defensive football? This is Josh Raymer, and we are back with another episode of the Big Three IDP podcast. And I'm joined in StreamYard by two fellow degenerates who are hunkered down at home. Looks like we've got a spare bedroom situation, possibly a laundry room situation for Bobby. But gentlemen, Adam, Bobby, joining me as always. How's it going, fellas?
Going great, Josh. Good to have everyone back. It's not the same, as having it in SoCheck, but it is. It's so sweet to have all you boys here.
It is.
I've missed this so much.
We don't get to hug each other and smell each other like we typically do, and I've really missed it, Bobo. I don't know about you.
Yeah, seeing the shack today and picking the mic up and everything brought a tear to the eye for sure.
Well, we're going to try. We're going to see if the world isn't further just being reduced to ashes next week. We may try to do a full back to normal sode from the Sode Check.
It'll be martial law at that point.
Yeah, pretty much. The National Guard will be roaming the streets, rounding up people in parks and just executing them in the street.
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
but we'll still be podding one way or the other, even if it's on StreamYard.
We're leading the country now in cases. So USA
leading the world in cases, Addy.
That's right, baby. The best.
Hey, if we're gonna do it, we're gonna do it right. I'm sorry.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So, Bobo, how you been holding up? It's been a little while since we touched base with you.
Yeah, we're good. We're good here. Work situation is still kind of hectic and crazy, but I know that's nothing that is new to y'all.
Yeah, I was going to say, y'all are in two industries that are got to be topsy-turvy right now with banking and insurance.
Yeah, we're essential, Josh.
You are essential.
That's what you're looking for. We're essential.
Fingernails.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm just over here, writing articles for people and okay, the world is crumbling, but let's work on your Forbes article. So not as essential. I'm proud of you boys for holding the country together. You're the glue right now.
Yeah, It's I don't know, man. I don't feel good about it. I'm not a big fan of doing it. I feel like it's probably going to stop by this time next week. It'll be here soon. It's just not here yet. We're a little more spread out in Kentucky, and our governor's done a great job with everything. He's been a baller throughout this whole process. So that's helped, but also we haven't had the tests. So part of us, we don't really know.
Yeah, I thought you were saying it's going to end next week as in your life, and you would just be found dead of corona at your desk.
Maybe.
We're not ruling it out.
Yeah.
So, Bobo, I imagine in your line of work, having to visit some of the boondock cities of Kentucky, maybe trying to do a little bit less of that now. Keep the old folks safe.
I'm doing a lot of laptop time in the car. Staying in the truck.
That sounds like a euphemism for watching porno in your vehicle, Bobby.
Well,
look, we all need to let off pressure and stress.
Oh, that's funny. That's a good one, Josh.
Thank you. All right, gentlemen. Well, we're here to talk football. As of right now, the NFL season is still happening. The draft, it was just announced. Roger Goodell sent out the memo. Hey, guys, stop pissing and moaning. The draft is happening as it has been scheduled. It'll be from a broadcast studio, probably somewhere in California, but it is still on schedule. Off-season activities, we'll see. The NFL season, we'll see. Heard from a little birdie, an actual NFL player, that it is being floated that the whole season might just be canceled. So that is terrifying. But as of right now, football is still going to be happening. So we're going to keep podcasting about it.
They can't make that call right now. There's no reason to make that call right now. Don't do that, NFL.
No, they won't. I think they'll literally will have to be NFL players dropping dead or, GMs dropping dead before they'll actually put an end to the season.
Yeah. What are we going to do? We haven't really discussed that. What are we going to do? What are we going to do if it's going to put a hold on, I guess, the brand for a little bit?
What will have to happen, there'll be some sort of maybe a secondary kind of side movement of NFL players who are let's just put forth our best Madden player and we'll just do a big simulation of the season every week. So I guess we'll just turn into Twitch stream analyst for the 2020 season.
I've heard that's a thing too, where you could do fantasy based off of, Madden performances and stuff.
That is is 2 levels too deep of nerddom. I think I would immediately lose all respect and credibility if we were doing Twitch stream analysis
on RSO.
We'll be desperate at that point. Maybe. I mean, things could be grim, and we will look for any bit of light we can get, Josh.
But also, I say that, and we started a podcast for 12 people in one fantasy league, so. We really don't have any room to talk when it comes to having nerdy pastimes.
Yeah, we're not better. We're not better than that.
No, we're really not. So that's the backup plan. Maybe we'll have like Anthony Costanzo representing the Colts week in and week out, battling through the NFL 2020 season on Madden. We'll see. Should be fun. Hey, you never know. I saw that Trump wants to get us back at work right after Easter because what a beautiful timeline that would be.
Yeah.
What day is Easter?
I don't know. I think it's sometime in like middle of
April.
Yeah.
Wow.
Maybe like the 13th or 14th. So
remember when this wasn't real about a month ago?
Yeah,
it wasn't going to be a thing.
Yeah, it would die off in a couple days, maybe a week.
Yeah.
Yeah.
My mom was telling me, go get toilet paper. And I was like, what is she talking about?
That stuff settled down a little bit, thank God, right? Have you guys been out to the stores?
Yeah.
So
for a while. I saw a funny tweet about January 1st, 2020, this is going to be my year. March 15th, me wiping my ass with a coffee filter.
I saw that one too. That's great. Yeah. For some reason, this was before all this happened. It may have just been because we were in like the post baby, I don't want to run out that much phase, where you just try to get everything in one fell swoop and stock up. But we bought 40 rolls of toilet paper at Sam's and 30 paper towel rolls. So
wow.
Plus we had like 2,000 napkins. So we're golden. Plus baby supplies. We've got approximately 10 million baby wipes. So our butts are going to be clean at least for the next 2 or 3 years if this thing gets really bad.
They go quick. You wouldn't believe the amount of messes those things make.
I mean, we go through about a big pack of wipes about every like 7 to 8 days.
Yeah.
You don't realize how quickly things go with a baby until they start going.
The bigger those messes get, though, it's going to be you quit counting wipes at a certain point.
You just you get past 10 and you're like, this is just a 5-alarm fire.
There's a lot of people I've noticed that try and a lot of dads will try and shame other dads based on how many wipes they use. They always want to be like, oh, I did it in 3 wipes. And I'm always like, is your child's butt, is it clean?
Yeah.
I'm in there using sometimes 20.
Whatever you got to do. Who cares? Just get that butt clean.
All over my hands. I mean, sometimes I'm like, how are you just using 3? But they're proud of it. And no dad shaming. Don't do that, guys.
Yeah.
If you need 20 wipes, if you need the whole sleeve.
Yeah. Whatever it takes.
Fine. Do what you gotta do.
Those dads grow up to be the ones chewing out the referee and threatening his family in the parking lot after the game.
Yeah.
It's a direct correlation.
Yeah, we're probably 3 of the coolest dads out there. So.
For sure. It has been fun joining the dad club, for sure.
Man, welcome.
Glad to be here, guys. Well, let's talk some football. We got a great episode lined up for you guys. We're going to hit some news. So many news items. We did a ton on the last couple episodes, and it feels like we haven't even talked about half of them yet. So we're going to hit some news, and then over the next 4 weeks, we thought this would really be a fun exercise in the run-up to the actual NFL draft because we're about a month away at this point. To look back, our league is entering its 5th year, so we've had 4 rookie drafts. And over the next 4 weeks, we're going to do a rookie draft review. We're going to look back at each of the 4 previous rookie drafts that our league has done and see what kind of hit rate, what kind of bust rate, how have those rookie picks shaped up, 4 years in, 3 years, 2 years, 1 year in, how are things looking? Because this is optimism season right now, fellas. Everyone that has Bobo, I know you're in this same boat. You've got a lot of rookie picks and you are banking on those guys being key contributors for your team. But this is meant to be a little bit of reality check of how effective is building through a rookie draft in a fantasy league. Obviously, small sample, just 4 years from one league, but it should be a fun exercise nonetheless.
Yeah, it's extremely terrifying right now to think about how many rookie picks I have, but here we are.
What was the tally? Wasn't it like $40 million?
40, I think it's $44 million, Josh. 30 something of which is in the first round. So
there you go.
Yeah, a lot of money, but 200 million will be all right. Fourth of my team.
There you go. Addy, what are your thoughts on the old rookie review? You have an ear? Oh, he has an ear, guys. So Addy's having some technical difficulties. We'll throw it back to Addy later. So Bobo, let's jump over here and look at some news. Addy was kind enough to write these up in the doc for us, and we've so many news items here. A lot of IDP stuff is going down. In fact, looking at this list, I would say it is almost exclusively IDP news that Addy has put in the doc for us here. So let's jump into some of the juicier news items, some of the more recent stuff, Bobo. The Cincinnati Bengals have been spending some money this offseason, which is not normal for them. Usually this is a team that spends very little money in free agency, but they just, I think it was announced today, Vonn Bell signed a 3-year deal with Cincy. They've also signed Trae Waynes, 3 years, $42 million. DJ Reader, 4 years, $53 million. They signed Josh Bynes as well. So do you like this approach, Bobby, that Cincinnati is going with here, spending all of this money in free agency, a little bit, like we said, outside the norm for them?
Where were they at, I guess, cap-wise, as far as teams with the most amount of money? Were they one of the top 10 teams probably to spend money?
I'm going to scroll down and see what they were looking like, because Addy had this awesome chart in here. Yeah. And so the Bengals had about $44.7 million. Now, this was a few weeks ago, so they might have cleared up some cap space, but they were looking at about $45 million.
I guess for Vonn Bell, for me, it's okay. With Sean Williams, it's going to be a little bit interesting. Sean Williams, I think in our main league last year, he was like a top 5 safety, wasn't he?
He was.
He was really high up there. And then the other thing, I guess, not so much selfishly anymore because I've got him gone, but Jesse Bates played really well also. So I don't know. I didn't really see safety here as being a big need for the Bengals, but I mean, I don't hate it, but it's not something that I probably would have gone out and done.
Around the NFL podcast, I heard one of the guys talking about he sees Bates and Vonn Bell being the starters, with Sean Williams potentially moving into like a nickel linebacker role, which would be kind of interesting. I think if I had Sean Williams, I'd be kind of excited about that.
I talked with Mike W. Hey, good to join you boys again, by the way.
Hey, Addy, welcome back. Good to have you.
It was like 5 minutes of radio silence. I couldn't hear anything. So if anyone tried to kick it to me, no idea.
Anyway, we did throw it to you a couple times, but that's okay.
Sorry, but anyway, I talked to Mike W about this. I kind of was looking at it as the Bengals have been spending a ton of money. Sean Williams is a $4.4 million cap hit with only $400K in dead money. So releasing him frees up $4 million. A team that's been spending a lot and who may be up against the cap, I could see maybe Williams getting released because he hasn't been that good. Even though he was calling the plays and stuff, he's not that good of a player. They weren't that defense was not good. So I wouldn't be surprised to maybe see him moving on and just running with the young guys, Vonn Bell and Jesse Bates.
Yeah,
that's Mike kind of echoed what you were saying. He thinks that they're going to keep all three and they're going to have Sean Williams as kind of the nickel linebacker.
Yeah, I wanted to see. Yeah, Vonn Bell's only 25.
Yeah, he's young. Reunited back in Ohio. He played at Ohio State.
There you go.
So that's cool.
Yeah, we'll see.
That's a fun defense, though, man. They've made a lot of really nice moves. I think me and you might have talked about it last episode, but they're solid, man. They're solid everywhere. And even the corners they brought in. They brought in Trae Waynes, Mackenzie Alexander, both from Minnesota. Trae Waynes isn't that good, but that's really their weakness still is the corners. But they're stout. They're pretty solid, and they may add through the draft too. You never know.
Yeah, what's the deal with the Minnesota connection there? Is there some sort of coach on the staff who coached in Minnesota? It's weird to go get two guys from the same team from the same position group.
Yeah, I didn't look into that anymore. But yeah, I thought that was odd too.
Yeah. So Bengals making some moves here. Another interesting move that I think has implications for another player on the roster. This guy returning from injury, Patrick Onwuasor, reunites with teammate CJ Mosley after signing with the Jets. So we have to wonder, Baba, what do you think this means for Avery Williamson? They've already re-signed Neville Hewitt. Cutting Williamson would save them about $6.5 million.
Yeah, I guess I'm probably, again, selfishly thinking more about the other side, the Baltimore side, probably. I think I don't know. I mean, it's hard to make any sense of what's going on right now for the Jets linebacking core. After last year, you had Cashman, you had Hewitt. We all expected big years out of Mosley and Williamson and never saw them. So I don't know. Onwuasor to me is okay. I don't think he's like elite or anything. I guess now I'm thinking, does this mean that Baltimore is they've got to be taking a linebacker with their draft pick, or maybe even looking to move up in the draft, I know we've talked about that in the last couple of episodes about, those top 10, top 15 picks. I think we're going to see a lot of teams move around, and I think you could see a Baltimore move up to try to grab an Isaiah Simmons or a Kenneth Murray or make sure they get the guy that they like.
Yeah, who is the linebacker there in Baltimore right now? Is there anybody of note right now?
Chris Board.
It seems like that is a huge position of need for them.
LJ Fort.
Yeah.
They'll be, and then Judon, as the edge rusher. But yeah, they're definitely probably going to do something. I could see them. It'd be cool if they added like Patrick Queen or you're right, Kenneth Murray. They would be that'd be huge for their value too.
Yeah. When was the last time Baltimore had a good linebacker?
It's been since CJ Mosley, but CJ was kind of hobbled up those last couple of years. But really, probably what Ray Lewis was really the last beast.
Yeah.
They had the Giants-Ravens Super Bowl, I think from either 2000 or 2001 on NFL Network, because, they are hurting for content right now. Yeah. And that was pretty early on in Ray Lewis's career, but everyone wore like the humongous, bulky shoulder pads and had like the old school helmets that looked like it was sold at like a replica gift shop. But man, Ray Lewis was a beast in that game. That game, though, may have been the worst quarterback matchup of all time in a Super Bowl between Kerry Collins and Trent Dilfer. Yeah, Trent Dilfer, who now coaches my cousin's football team down in Nashville. So wow, that's a very strange thing.
Dilfer Dimes.
Dilfer Dimes, that's right. Still does it. I think he has like a studio in his house where he does the dimes from.
He's still working for ESPN?
I think so, yeah. So, which is good. Good for him.
Never watch ESPN anymore.
No, absolutely not. So let's look at some other items. This is just some kind of miscellaneous news items that we had not really touched on yet. Bobby, why don't you hit us with this first one? This is a guy I know that you have that has been close to your heart for a long time.
Nah, I don't want to talk about it, Josh. Go ahead and just finish it off for me. You're just rubbing it in. So the Darius Slay trade. You can kind of give me a little bit more of a background. Have they already extended him? Have they paid him at all?
Let's see.
Obviously with the Eagles.
Yeah, I don't know if they have agreed to a new contract yet or not. I think Slay was just so eager to get out of Detroit that he was just like, I don't care where I go or how much it's for. Yeah. So got a story here. Darius Slay's contract. Let's see. Yeah. The Eagles and Darius Slay reached an agreement on a 3-year, $50 million extension that includes $30 million guaranteed.
Wow.
So
I like Slay. I think he's I think he's a great corner. He's coming into that age to where, he's not too old yet, but that's a good contract for a corner. I guess my question, and Adam's brought this up in the last couple of podcasts, but why would the Eagles do this? The Eagles have so much of another, so many other needs other than just a decent corner. Their defense is getting older. Maybe this is just the beginning of them trying to revamp it there, but I don't know. It's a bad defense.
Yeah, it seems to me like they still think they still have a window. And I guess they technically do. They're in a division that they should win. Last year you just got to remember they dealt with a ton of injuries, but they do have a lot of talent on the roster. And cornerback has been an issue for a long time. They've tried so many different, different guys there. Ronald Darby, Russell Douglas,
Avonte Maddox.
Exactly. I do think he's probably past his prime, but you probably have another 1 to 2 years of him playing at elite level.
Yeah, and if you watch that All or Nothing season, you realize, because I didn't really remember how grim it got for the Eagles, but they brought in I can't remember his name, but they brought in some guy off the street who I remember had a horrible game on Sunday, and they literally cut him the next day, and then he went on like some sort of I think it was the show with Skip Bayless and blasted the Eagles like right after they released him. And so that cornerback situation was pretty grim there in Philadelphia last year. So I can understand it. I don't think they gave up that much in the trade, did they? Wasn't it like a
third and a fifth?
Yeah, it wasn't much.
Jalen Mills is another guy that they've tried there. Yeah, it's been a revolving door of corners. So hopefully that addresses that need.
Yeah. So Darius Slade now in Philadelphia. We have Desmond Trufant replacing him in Detroit on a 2-year, $21 million deal. So Trufant, I believe, was previously with the Falcons.
Yeah.
Is that right? Yeah.
So that's solid. I mean, he's fine.
Yeah.
If you're in a cornerback required league, he may be useful this year.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It will be fun to see Slay in that division up against Amari, probably Terry McLaurin.
And then, Darius Slayton. Yeah.
Some great wide receivers in that division, let me tell you. So another move here. This I liked a lot. This was a guy that we talked about was going to make a lot of money for himself this offseason as a free agent, leaving Atlanta. Devondre Campbell signs with Arizona, and I will actually pull up the details of the contract. I believe he got a pretty nice deal. We talked about it. Obviously, Deion Jones has kind of been hobbled here in past years, but Devondre Campbell, at least from a fantasy standpoint, clearly outplayed Deion Jones last year in Atlanta. So he only got a 1-year contract worth about $8.5 million. So you have to wonder if this is sort of like a prove it deal, if maybe he just took more guaranteed money in 1 year just to hit the market next year. But I would have thought Campbell would have gotten a little more guap than that, Bobby, don't you think?
Yeah, but I get it. I'm a little bit worried about Arizona next year. They are kind of starting to establish themselves a little bit. And we'll talk about another guy here coming up that they've grabbed that I really enjoy as well. But, I mean, it's fine. I'm not against, it being a 1-year kind of prove it deal. I don't know if Campbell outplayed Deion Jones as much last year as much as it was just maybe Atlanta not having a great year all around. Offensively or defensively, but I'm okay with it. It's just kind of meh to me.
Yeah. Seems like a move that, like the Cardinals aren't really betting on him as a big part of their future, but maybe a guy that they wanted to bring in is kind of like a dart throw, kind of like in your auction, you take a flyer on a guy late. That kind of seems like what they're doing with Campbell. Addy, what do you think?
Josh, can you hear me?
I can hear you, Adam.
Is it good or is it bad?
You sound good, baby.
It's great.
Okay, this is back on the snowball, Josh.
Okay, good. I'm glad.
We're live.
We're live. We'll do it live. In the words of Bill O'Reilly, we will do it live.
What were we talking? Where are we at? Who are we talking about?
We're talking about Devondre Campbell, Adam. Welcome to the podcast.
Devondre Campbell, man. This is I'm very excited to see him leave town. Deion Jones, we're back. We're back in.
Wheels up for Deion, baby.
I saw Joey put out a good article today about I think he called Devondre Campbell the vampire, the fantasy vampire, something like that.
Nice.
And that's what he done, man. He sucked the tackles away from Deion Jones last year. We were all beating that drum, and then he made us look bad. And a big part of that was because Devondre Campbell, I think, had 130 tackles. So he's out of town. I think we could see Deion Jones return to that number one linebacker status, high end number two linebacker.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, for sure. So,
but I don't think he's going to be that great in Arizona. You still got Jordan Hicks there.
Does this hurt Jordan Hicks's? If the vampire's in Arizona, does this hurt Hicks?
Exactly. Yeah, I think it's going to hurt. It's going to hurt him a little bit too. I'm probably fading Hicks anyway this year, just because
I think we talked about that previously. Just sell high on the fact that he was LB1. Literally, the only way he has to go is down. Mm-hmm. Played 100% of snaps for Arizona. Probably not going to happen again. This is a guy who's previously been, battled with injury. So this was just a dream season, and now you get the vampire in there. Yeah, this is a perfect time. Try to dump Jordan Hicks before your league mates realize what's going on.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
So we have Campbell on the way out in Atlanta and Dante Fowler coming in on a 3-year, $48 million deal. Bobby, speak to it. This obviously hurts your heart seeing another Ram walk out the door.
It's just getting to be a little bit ridiculous these days.
Who are they going to have play defense? Are they just going to bring back Wade Phillips to play linebacker now?
I'll just go ahead and fill in the next little news item there, Josh, with go ahead and send Brockers to the Ravens.
I was going to say Michael Brocker signs a 3-year deal with the Ravens. So there's another person walking out that door.
Corey Littleton gone. I don't know. I think it makes so much less sense now for that Ramsey trade last year. Just none of this stuff makes sense at all. We haven't even paid Ramsey yet, which is really concerning, and we gave like a ton for him.
I thought you all had paid him. Oh, my God. You've got that looming?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, man, Bob, that's going to get so ugly.
Yeah,
he's not going to want to stay if they're not good.
He's going to want like 5 years, $75 million, something insane. Like that's coming, man.
I've been looking at Cardinals jerseys on eBay a lot here lately.
Hey, yeah, it's a good time to switch.
Jeez, man. No, it's pretty depressing. Brockers had a great year last year. Fowler, obviously, I think had 10, 11, 12 sacks. I think obviously a little bit of that was helped, playing alongside of Aaron Donald because he had 3 people on him by himself. So Fowler probably owes half of that to AD. But yeah, it sucks as a Rams fan. I love it for Fowler. I think that's awesome going to Atlanta, playing with Deion Jones. That'll be fun. Even Brockers, I don't mind that to the Ravens. Brockers is going to go there. Matt Judon. You're going to have
Calais is there.
Yeah, and you also have maybe I'm messing his name up, but Jalen Ferguson, who I'm kind of a fan of. I like to kind of. I think I drafted him. Yeah, I drafted him in our Unreal tournament pretty later on. But yeah, the Ravens. Gosh, if they can get a freaking linebacker.
It's true. I've really liked the moves they've made this offseason. Mm-hmm. Who was the other guy they brought in on the defensive line? They brought in Campbell, and then they brought in another nice piece.
Well, and the other thing I'm thinking about
Brockers.
too in this,
but I thought they had someone else too.
I'm with you. I think there's one more name. But we still love Chuck Clark. You look at 2 of the highest performing cornerbacks in cornerback, needed leagues last year in Marcus Peters and help me out here. Yeah, the other guy.
Oh, Marlon Humphreys.
There you go. He played well as well.
And then they got Jimmy Smith as well.
Well,
Yeah, I was looking right now to see if I could tell you who the other people were. I forgot they lost Marshall Yanda. That hurts the offense.
Oh yeah, he's
Yes.
a great offensive lineman, one of the best.
And you got to wonder if Matthew Judon. It feels like they want to keep Judon though.
Yeah, they tagged
Yeah.
him.
Doesn't seem like a tag and trade scenario to me.
Yeah.
Man, they got him. They got freaking Calais Campbell for a 5th round pick. That still blows my mind.
that's unbelievable.
And he'll be motivated there. You know,
Sure.
that was a great signing.
It really
Very
was.
great.
Good job, Ravens. Good team. Stay good.
Yeah, he's never had a really good chance to run after it. You know, he had that one AFC championship year, but I guess prior years he just kind of never had a chance to go for the ring.
Yeah.
So let's look at a few linebacker moves here. We'll just hit a few of these real quick. Christian Kirksey, 2-year deal with Green Bay. Nick Vigil signed a 1-year deal with the Chargers. And Tahir Whitehead signs a 2-year deal with the Panthers. Rule was the coach at Temple when Whitehead was there. So this makes a lot of sense. Same reason they brought Robbie Anderson in was because of the Matt Rule Temple connection. So is any of this good for these 3 linebackers? Is this an improvement in their situations at all, really?
Well, I mean, I don't think that Whitehead's going to be as good as he's been, but it still makes him at least serviceable. He's going to get playing time. He'll get tackles. So he's a nice little bench piece to target later in your draft, redraft, not dynasty. But yeah, same with Kirksey. I mean, Kirksey could be really good this year if he stays healthy. That's always an issue with him, is health. But he is in a prime spot. I could see him being a top 24 linebacker easy.
Because do we think that Martinez is gone?
He's gone. He's with the Giants now. Gettleman.
That's right.
Gave him $30 million.
Yeah, so Kirksey could be a better player than freaking Martinez.
Yeah. I mean, Martinez isn't good.
Yeah.
And it's
such a Gettleman move.
Kirksey, it hurts me to say because I was really hopeful for him last season, and he played well, got the chest injury really early on, though, and was just shut down the rest of the season. He's kind of a guy like Jordan Hicks. I could see him making a leap. I think he has all the talent in the world, but I'm just going to be out on Kirksey until I see him do it, just because unless you can grab him late, unless you can grab him as like your 5th linebacker or something where you don't have to depend on him. But he's just, until he can prove that he can play a full season, man, that's such a risk right there.
Very true.
So what about
but he's going to be cheap. He's going to be cheap. So that's nice. You're not going to, you'll be able to he'll probably be like, 35th, 40th overall linebacker. So you're not going to have to spend a lot probably to get him. People will forget about him. He'll slip through.
Yeah. I think if you can get him late, then it'd be everyone. I would be interested in just about everyone at the right price, at the right draft position.
Yeah.
But not a guy I'm going to be reaching for as like my 2nd or 3rd linebacker. What about Nick?
And I don't mind to, this is relevant. We had a question today in one of the leagues I'm in. It was about Christian Kirksey. And he was asking, someone was wanting a 2nd round pick the guy had Christian Kirksey, and he was wanting the guy to give him a 2nd round pick. And he was like, is that too much for Kirksey? And we're like, yes, definitely. That's way too much for Kirksey. If you're trading a 2nd round pick, you're wanting someone that's young. You're wanting someone that's also going to be productive for a little while, because those 2nd round picks, those can be very valuable. So 2nd round pick, you're looking for a Deion Jones, a Zach Cunningham, a Jayon Brown. That's the type you're looking for. If you're looking, if you want to target Kirksey or someone like that, he's probably like a 4th round pick.
Yeah, I was going to say I'd give a 4th, but
yeah,
2nd is way too much.
Yeah.
So I think this is a downgrade for Nick Vigil. He's now in the LA Chargers quagmire with linebackers. We talked about your baby being able to escape and go to, remind me who this was. It was Jatavis Brown going to the Eagles?
Yes.
Yeah. So able to escape the quicksand there in Los Angeles. But now you just throw Nick Vigil, who's been serviceable for IDP. You throw him into that. And like you said in the doc here, Addy, it's just kind of gross.
Yeah. I hate it most for Drew Tranquil. That's because I was excited about him. I thought he was going to be a nice, he could, even though we know how wonky the linebackers are there. I thought maybe this guy sticks. Maybe they actually give this guy the most playing time because I think he's the best of the group.
Mm-hmm.
But that kind of puts a damper on that. I'll probably just be avoiding him again. I don't want to deal with that.
Yeah, let's say, Bobby, all these guys go at a relatively fair draft position. Which of these three guys with draft capital being equal are you most interested in for 2020? Kirksey, Vigil, or Whitehead?
Oh, Kirksey for sure. Yeah, because, Whitehead, Shaq Thompson is going to eat this year. Nick Vigil, I'm with Adam. What was the dude who had an awesome, half of his rookie year? You drafted him, Adam. And then ever since then, for the Chargers,
there it is. Yeah.
Because, see, I kind of had that with Kaiser White. You had a small sample size where you're like, dude, this guy is about to go off. And then it was like, wait, never mind. We're not going to play him anymore. Yeah. So the Chargers are just frustrating. I think Vigil will be all right, but Kirksey for sure. For sure.
Yeah. So let's look at some safety news here, fellas. A few guys on the move. Ha Clinton-Dix signs a 3-year deal with Dallas. Malcolm Jenkins is going to the Saints. And Adrian Phillips signed with the New England Patriots. Oh, and let's go ahead and grab this one as well. Karl Joseph signed a 1-year deal with the Browns. So similar type of question here, fellas. Which of these moves do we like the best for the player? Who has put themselves, if any, into a better situation in 2020 than they were in 2019? Bobby, you first.
I like the move for Phillips. I think he'll be really useful there in New England. I like that move a lot. I don't know why Dallas felt the need to get Ha for 3 years.
Because it's Dallas.
I guess. I know I'm not a big Malcolm Jenkins fan. I know a lot of people are. I would have preferred to keep Vonn Bell. I'm not sure what New Orleans cap was like, but that might have been a situation that they had to do. Karl Joseph 1 year to Cleveland could be interesting. They're going to be a much different defense next year. Josh, I know that probably helps you a little bit because, I know in our main league you have Abram and you had Joseph. You really didn't want both of them. You kind of wanted them both to be separate teams and stuff, but probably Phillips.
I actually salary dumped Karl Joseph about a month ago. So I thought I had him on my team still, but I was like, oh no, I salary dumped him to Charlie. So, okay. And then let's see here. Yeah. The Malcolm Jenkins one was interesting. I don't know if Vonn Bell was just too pricey. I mean, we did see him land that big deal with the Bengals. So maybe the Saints just didn't have the cap. They are historically a very cash strapped team when it comes to the salary cap. Yeah. So that was probably part of it.
I don't necessarily prefer any of those guys over the others, but they're all going to be useful. They're all going to be nice little targets to have at the back, the back of your drafts, and just nice depth pieces to have at safety. I think they could all be serviceable at certain points throughout the year, and that's what you're looking for.
For sure.
Yeah, I was looking to see. So Vonn Bell got a 3-year, $18 million contract, so about $6 million a year.
That's fine.
So yeah, absolutely. I will say that out of that group, I really like the Karl Joseph signing, just because, like we talked about with Mike W., that is a Browns secondary that is devoid of safety talent right now. And so I think Joseph is going to slot in there as an immediate starter. Now, they could go and address the position in the draft, but I think Karl Joseph's being brought in to start.
Wow.
Yeah, I think so too.
Yeah. So a few more moves here, fellas.
Hey, don't forget the one up top that you skipped over.
I'm going to grab it right now because it's boys. So we got Leonard Floyd going to the Rams on a 1-year deal. We have Jordan Phillips signing a 3-year, $30 million deal with Arizona. Go get that money, Jordan Phillips. And a couple other moves here. Vic Beasley signed a 1-year prove-it deal with Tennessee. And Jarrell Casey, we mentioned this, his 3-year, I didn't realize it was 3 years, $42 million. Holy guacamole. Was traded to the Broncos. AJ Bouye traded to Denver as well. So, Bobby, let's jump back up here to the first one. They the Rams let Fowler and Brockers go and bring in Leonard Floyd. You have to be ecstatic about them bringing in a draft bust to replace two of your valuable starters along the defensive line.
Yeah, I love it. It's one of the best trades one of the best deals the Rams have made since the Ramsey trade and the Gurley extension. So all wheels up for the Rams.
Wait, I thought those were bad moves, Bobby. What are you trying to say here?
Oh, they're fantastic. I've come back around on them in the last 30 minutes.
That's good. You did give Gurley $41 million in our RSO league. Haven't finalized yet. That's very important.
Yeah.
What are you gonna do? You gonna finalize that?
Which rookie draft are we talking about there? We're talking about the RSO rookie draft, not the actual NFL draft.
For the rookie draft review later in the sode?
No, I'm talking about that it locks.
Oh, so it's I think 3 days before our rookie draft.
That's very helpful. Yeah. So that when they draft DeAndre Swift, he's gonna remove that franchise tag.
Is it before our rookie draft or the actual NFL draft?
Well, I will check at him while you continue to vamp to see what it is in particular. But I believe it was before our rookie draft. But let's see. Bobby, you have ends 3 days prior to your league's rookie draft. So,
wow. That's nice.
So you've got some time. We're not drafting. We're not doing the rookie draft until May.
That shouldn't be allowed. You should have to make that call before the draft.
You should have to make it on the podcast. That should be in the fine print.
Mm-hmm.
I think that I don't think it'll stick. I think Atlanta will draft somebody. They can't roll with Gurley's knee and then Ito Smith and Brian Hill. They can't roll that out to start the season because honestly, I think Atlanta could be a playoff team this year. I think, you've got, I know they lost Hooper, which kind of sucks, but, you've got Calvin Ridley. You've got another year of Julio.
Brought in Hayden Hurst to replace.
There you go.
Hooper,
that was it. That was the one I was missing. So
Treadwell.
Atlanta,
Treadwell. Adam is holding the flame alight for Laquan Treadwell, former Viking.
Don't sleep.
Oh, I'm sleeping, Addy. I'm taking a nice 8-hour good night sleep.
Get your ass up.
But no, the Floyd deal I hate. I think that's stupid. I do love the Jordan Phillips deal. Not only for Jordan Phillips, I mean, that makes Arizona that much more dangerous. So now you got Devondre Campbell and Jordan Phillips that you're adding to that defensive front there. That's going to be pretty rough to deal with in the NFC West. But I also love it for the Bills. I think that's all wheels up for your boy Ed Oliver, Shaq Lawson. They're gonna be some playing time for those boys this year.
Yeah, absolutely. Love it for both sides. It's one of those things where you have guys who are ready to eat there in Buffalo and let Jordan Phillips go out and make his money somewhere else.
9.5 sacks last year for Phillips.
Yeah, had a nice little season. Very under the radar, nice season for Buffalo. So the other moves here, Vic Beasley, I mean, whatever. Maybe you can grab him in the late rounds of your startup drafts for IDP. But Jarrell Casey getting traded to the Broncos and Bouye getting traded to the Broncos as well. So the Broncos are taking these flyers on guys that other teams don't seem to want, which is a very interesting strategy. Addy, I think we talked about, it seems like the Titans might have been some rumblings that they were clearing some cap space to go make a run at Jadeveon Clowney.
Yeah, I mean, and I'm only basing that off of that Madden video that Ben showed us where they had leaked.
It's a reliable source.
Yeah. So I don't know. It was a Madden clip up where they were showing Gurley in the Falcons uniform, and then the next scene was Clowney in a Titans uniform. So we're like, well, does Madden know something?
Madden knows something, man. They're the first ones to find out. Got to update those rosters.
Still surprising that he's not signed anywhere yet. So I don't know. Maybe it is going to be the tight ones. Maybe Madden knows.
Yeah, I still think the Seahawks for Clowney, but I think he's been a little bit shell-shocked in terms of, wow, I'm not getting the value I thought I was going to get on the open market.
I think his best bet is to probably just take a 1 or 2 year deal. But he could probably make $20 million a year if he just did a 1 year.
Yeah, for sure, because some team would be willing to pay him more in 1 year, not to have to lock him up for multiple years.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So
if he gets it from Seattle, though, I still want him in bed late at night with the Go Hawks. Instagram video.
God, yeah, that's just all right. Thanks, Russell Wilson. We understand that you're married to like superstar.
I'm gonna see y'all in the morning.
That's a great Russell Wilson, Addy.
Go Hawks!
Yeah, it's like clearly, what did you guys just get done doing?
You know what they did.
Yeah,
Skittles.
They gave each other foot rubs.
I love this move for Jurrell Casey though, because I don't know. I like it also for Jeffrey Simmons because, Casey gets out of the way, but I think it's a little bit probably of a rejuvenation for Casey. I think he's still a talented guy. He's still younger-ish, kind of that Calais Campbell probably year time frame. But yeah, that, it's a very John Elway-ish move to go out and get Jurrell Casey, but I don't mind it. I think it's fine. Yeah. It's a lot of money.
Really good player. I mean, I guess the Broncos are still trying to be competitive, which, I mean, obviously you're going to try and do. You don't really know what you have out of Locke. So, I mean, you can't just you got to see how good he is first. And so I think, they're just putting the pieces around him to give him a shot to be successful.
Yeah, Jurrell Casey is 30 years old. So if he's the kind of player that Calais Campbell has, which is very, very rare, then he could have some nice years left in the tank for Denver.
A lot of those interior linemen, guys like that, I mean, they're still just as good, even though they age. I mean, because they're men. They're just grown-ass men, at this point.
Calais Campbell is the definition of grown-ass man, if there ever was one. Like, if we had to put forth one person, the aliens come down, they're like, give us your best grown-ass man. Calais Campbell is the one stepping forward.
I'm number two.
You are number two, Eddie. You are number two. Second man. Yeah, you're no longer first man.
Well, okay.
Okay, that's fair. That's fair. Last IDP move here, fellas. This one was pretty recent. Quentin Dunbar traded from Washington to Seattle. Addy, you have this as an underrated move for Seattle.
Yeah, it's a good football move. Dunbar is one of the better coverage corners in the league. And, I mean, Seattle, that's a team that's always built around their secondary. And, I really like this move for them. They have a really good secondary again.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Quentin Dunbar had some moments last year for IDP. I know I had him on my lineup, at least 2 or 3 weeks. So he's a good player. I think he's going to be a nice addition for Seattle.
Yeah, and then you got Trey Flowers, you got Quandre Diggs, McDougal, we got Marquise Blair that's hopefully going to come on at some point. So I mean, they've done a nice job with that secondary.
Let's talk about all these NFC West teams that are going to be great next year. Let's do it. Yeah. Let's keep talking about them, guys.
Bobby, you guys are probably the last.
For sure. Yeah, and look at how fast has the tide turned from the Rams being Gurley having 17 touchdowns in a year to he was just released. The Rams have to pay. Yeah, they want to pay $3 million not to have you on their team this year.
Yeah.
Bobby, anyway. Are you at all worried that this could be the year where everything just kind of implodes in Los Angeles for the Rams and people start calling for the coach's job there? I'm blanking on his name, Sean McVay. If they start calling for Sean McVay's job, are you a little worried that could be the outcome this year for the Rams?
Probably to the uneducated, I would say yes. I think it's smart. I mean, I think I don't know if I mentioned this. Well, obviously I didn't on the last show because I wasn't on there, but it's kind of like the Diggs trade. It sucks because Gurley is my dude, same with Adam, but football wise, I don't know why the Rams didn't get something back for Gurley. I don't think he was worthy of just a straight drop, but I mean, like for Minnesota, it sucks to see your best player go, but I mean, that's such a smart move for the Vikings. They've got so many picks back. They're not going to have to deal with Diggs anymore, which kind of, to me is a positive and a negative. But I don't know. I think that the moves that, not signing Dante Fowler, letting Brockers go, letting Gurley go, I think there's going to be more things to come. I think you could see maybe Cooks dropped as well. It's just one of those years where people are going to have to realize, like, look, this is just who we are. We've got 11 guys out there. I'm pretty sure we're going to see what we can do. And the other thing that sucks is that the division is getting so much better. I mean, like, unbelievable. But it just, y'all talked about this a little bit on the last episode too, about the running back contracts. And, I can't believe that there wasn't a bigger stink in the new CBA about running back rookie contracts, they need to be so much more, because these franchise tags for, like, I bet Derrick Henry's going to throw a fit this year. And rightfully so, he should. The year that, I mean, he got the Titans as far as they did by himself, and then they just said, yeah, we're going to give this 31-year-old, Brian Tannehill a ton of money, but here's $10 million or whatever it is.
Yeah, you just had one of the best seasons in history, but we're not going to give you that contract. And they were smart not to. But at the same time, it's you hate it for Derrick Henry, because he deserved to get the bag, and now he's going to be stuck playing for way, way, way less money than he could have got on the open market.
And shout out to Le'Veon for doing it a couple years ago, because that's kind of what, started this whole thing of people realizing maybe we're not paying these running backs enough from the beginning.
Yeah. And why wouldn't Tennessee do it again next year? Why not just tag them again?
Yeah, that's right. Definitely could. Probably will. I mean, just depending on how this season goes, if he shows he's still got some tread left on the tires, I think you could be seeing a second straight franchise tag year.
I mean, what it goes up like maybe 20-25%. So that would just be, it would be 12 million instead of 10 million.
It's still pennies on the dollar for what he should be making. Yeah. So let's talk about some other offensive moves here, fellas. And we got, some interesting moves shaking out here in free agency. Melvin Gordon finally found a home, 2 years, $13.5 million deal with Denver. What do you all see this doing to the backfield there? Do you think this is like adios Royce Freeman? Do you see it being a three-headed monster, kind of like a San Francisco situation? Addy, what are you thinking there in Denver?
Yeah, I think Royce Freeman's going to get, he may be gone, but if he stays, he's not going to get much work. I see Melvin Gordon getting the majority of the snaps and carries, and Philip Lindsay will be sprinkled in. I mean, Melvin Gordon is a really good pass catcher as well. So I don't necessarily think there's going to be like a third down back. I think, and the stuff I've been seeing today is that they want Melvin Gordon to be the bell cow. So I don't know how much you buy into that, but based on the early stuff, it seems like they're going to give Melvin Gordon the lion's share.
Yeah,
but Philip Lindsay's good, and
that's the problem.
You can't just hold that talent off. If you're going to have to get him on the field, and maybe they try and find out a way to use both of them at the same time.
Yeah, I don't buy it just because Lindsay is so good. I actually like him at this stage a little bit more than Gordon, just in terms of ability as a running back. But, still an undrafted guy. And it's like, once you get that label, it's really hard to overcome that. Gordon was obviously a highly drafted guy. They paid not premium top dollar for him, but he is a big name free agent acquisition that is going to come in and get some work. But I don't think it's going to be adios Philip Lindsay. The guy's just too talented.
Yeah, I think all these guys are sales right now. Sell Gordon, sell him to the guy who, send the link for, the bell cow tweet or whatever. I'd get rid of Lindsay as well, because this is just going to be a frustrating situation. And then, I don't know, I guess Royce Freeman might be the buy for me right now. Even though I own him, I'm not too optimistic about him. I'm just hoping that they, ship him off to somebody else, because I think he still is okay. I don't think the book's been written on him yet, but I don't know. I don't really want any of these guys right now. I think it'll be a muddy situation. I don't really want any of this. It's kind of the same thing with San Fran. I don't want any of the San Fran guys right now, just to be honest with you.
No.
1 week it's going to be freaking Tevin Coleman. The next week it's going to be the guy I have, Mostert. It's not reliable enough for fantasy.
And keep in mind with Denver too, I am not a believer in Drew Lock. So I think that offense is really going to struggle. And I just don't want offensive pieces necessarily from an offense that isn't going to be, top 20, top, 15. I'm going to try to stack pieces from those top 15 offenses, which I just don't think Denver is going to be. So
maybe Cortland Sutton's a sell right now, which sounds ridiculous, but maybe Denver's just going to run the ball a ton this year.
They're interesting, man. Can't you see them making a move to go get Cam Newton? That seems like the best fit right now. Seems like a John Elway type of guy. Think about what Elway's approach has been. Peyton Manning went and got Brock Osweiler. Or no, did he sent Osweiler off? Went and got Joe Flacco. Went and got Case Keenum. He loves these big name veteran guys.
Your boy, Josh. You forgot to say your boy.
Who's that?
Peyton Manning.
That's what I said him first. Peyton Manning, Case
Okay.
Keenum, and Joe Flacco. So I could absolutely see Cam Newton. I think teams are waiting on Newton right now just because of the medical stuff. With all the coronavirus stuff going on, it's really hard. I know he passed a physical, but it's really hard to get a sense right now because facilities are shut down. There's not a lot of stuff happening. Newton kind of got done dirty by the Panthers getting released when he did. They should have released him back in January before all this stuff started and not tried to string him along and say at the combine that he's their guy. And then 2 weeks later, they cut him. Like, this is it's just inexcusable the way this has been handled.
Yeah, quit with the wordplay.
What?
Quit with the wordplay.
Are you telling this to Cam?
That's what he said. That's what he said in that weird font. Right?
I couldn't read that. I don't read hieroglyphics. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
He
should.
Adam does.
Yeah, he should.
His hair, though, somebody's got to put my dude in touch with the barber because that hair has gotten out of control.
I love it.
So y'all saw the video that was floating around today about is all these workout videos, and he just seems angry the entire time he's working out, saying, he just seemed they gave up on me. That's what he said in the one today.
I mean, that was pretty much the Instagram caption as well. Like, I didn't want this. Like, you guys are pushing me out the door. So if I'm John Elway, I'm like trying to get my feelers out with Newton right now, figure out, is this guy healthy? And I'm trying to bring him in because I'm sorry, even if you do believe in Drew Lock, have some kind of fallback plan. What if Drew Lock face plants 3 games into the season? What are you going to do then? Elway kind of needs a nice, successful season in Denver to keep his job, I think. So,
Josh always calling for people's jobs.
Hey, that's my favorite part, baby. I own that 100%. No shame. Fire everybody every year to start over from scratch.
Not enough that there's about to be 30% unemployment in this country. Josh needs more.
Add John Elway to the mix. He's been terrible since Manning left. All right, other moves.
Bad heart.
I knew it was coming.
Got some other moves here. We got Robbie Anderson going to the Carolina Panthers. This was kind of fascinating. I know we talked about the Matt Rule connection already, but that was already a pretty talented wide receiving core. It's like, we talked about them maybe trying to tank, but it seems like with Teddy, now adding Robbie Anderson.
This sucks.
Why does this suck?
Because Teddy Two Gloves, he's not, they don't match. That's not a match with Robbie Anderson.
No, Robbie Anderson is a deep threat. And I think I heard this today, and this was incredible, that during his stretch last year with the Saints, he averaged 6 air yards per attempt. Teddy Bridgewater did. Like, I think our buddy Lauren, when his shoulder went out in the backyard during our auction draft, I think he still threw the ball further than 6 yards.
Yeah, for sure.
So I love Teddy Two Gloves as a person. As a player, though, this is going to be a check down machine. McCaffrey's about to be the number 1 running back again in fantasy for the next 3 years.
Ian Thomas, pretty solid, but I hate this for all the receivers. I hate it for all of them. Although, I mean, maybe I'm hating on Teddy because Michael Thomas was still a baller even with Teddy. So maybe DJ Moore retains his value. I'm not buying it though. I don't want any of these receivers.
That's a lot of good receiving options there. I feel like the pie is going to be split way too small. I'd want McCaffrey, of course, but maybe in Thomas because the tight end landscape is so gross. But yeah, the receivers now, Robbie Anderson could have landed in a plush situation. Imagine if he was in Green Bay as the number 2 wide receiver opposite
Minnesota. Why not Minnesota? That would have been sweet.
Yeah. So I don't know. I don't like it. I agree. I think this is a serious downgrade for all of the Carolina receivers just because now you have another weapon in the offense that is going to demand some targets.
Yeah. Speaking of some of these deep receivers, Diggs is a sell right now, right?
I'll buy.
You're going from one of the most accurate, not one of the most accurate quarterbacks, but decently accurate in Kirk to Josh Allen. I don't know. I think it could be a frustrating year for Diggs.
We saw John Allen have. I mean, we saw John Brown have his best year with Josh Allen. I mean, and also Diggs only got 93 targets last year. They just don't have the volume to really. I don't know. It was frustrating when he was in Minnesota. I don't think it's going to be much different. I think it's going to be about what it was in Minnesota.
Do you think he gets more than 100 targets
in Buffalo? Yes.
In Buffalo,
yes.
Even though that's a more of a run first offense.
I don't know. We'll see. Teams can change year to year. I could see Josh Allen taking another step forward as a passer. I mean, it's going to be his third year. So even though he struggled with accuracy problems.
The dude has a rocket though.
Yeah, for sure. They have a really fun receiving group. I mean, I'm a fan of John Brown. Always have liked John Brown. Obviously Diggs. I'm a Diggs fanboy, and then Cole Beasley's a nice piece in the slot. So they have some talent there. I'm not necessarily selling Diggs. I'll buy him. I don't know. I'd say that's probably the mindset though. I'd say people probably will sell Diggs.
I guess I'm probably overinflating his 2019 year. I'm trying to act like it was his 2018 or 2017 year. You know, it's not like he really just went crazy, I guess, in Minnesota last year.
It's always like 1,107 and 90 catches.
Yeah,
it's fine, but it's not like he hasn't really taken that next step yet.
You said you'd be wanting to buy Diggs right now. What would you be willing to pay, just hypothetically?
I mean, I don't think you'd have to pay too much, so I'd probably be looking to pay like a late first or something. I'd start there. I'd start with the late first. I mean, in this 2020 draft is fine, but that's probably where I'd start.
Yeah, I was thinking somewhere like maybe 110 to 112 range would be a fair trade.
And then I imagine you probably have to, if you had some thirds and fourths, you probably have to throw those in, but I'm comfortable with that.
Just throw it in just to make me feel better. Just throw it in.
Yeah, that's right.
So Brashad Perryman played really well for the Bucs down the stretch once Mike Evans went out, signed a 1-year, $8 million deal with the Jets. So Robbie Anderson out the door. Come on in, Brashad Perryman. I don't know. I heard a good argument today that Jameis Winston wide receivers may have their stats overinflated a little bit by Winston's constant YOLO ball. So I don't know that I'm necessarily buying Perryman outside of the Tampa Bay ecosystem. So yeah, if somebody else wants to come calling and get Perryman thinking that, he's got Sam Darnold, he's going to keep it up with how he was playing last year, I'm happy to sell Perryman right now.
Yeah, I agree. Although I really like the signing. I mean, Perryman was pretty good, last year. And yeah, I think he's going to slide right into that Robbie Anderson role.
Yeah, and you look, comparable right there. 2 years, $20 million to Anderson. 1 year, $8 million to Perryman. I love that 1 year. You're going to make Perryman kind of prove it. You're going to save $12 million in the process, and really probably not lose much production. Right. And I know you can't knock Anderson a whole lot because what was it that Darnold had mono for like 4 or 5 weeks last year?
That famous picture of him pointing at the screen, it said Sam Darnold out indefinitely with mono. And it's like, am I going to get mono now? Is this like the movie The Ring where you watch the tape and now you're the next to die? Yeah. So he had mono.
Well, look back at Robbie Anderson's game log. He was pretty good down the stretch.
Yeah, and now he's gone and partnered up with the quarterback who throws the shortest amount of air yards per attempt in the league.
Yeah. God, almost lost his leg.
Yeah. Like I said,
non-contact.
Yeah. I just think about that injury sometimes and I get a little queasy. So a couple of tight end deals here, fellas. Eric Ebron signs 2 years, $12 million with the Pittsburgh Steelers. And Tyler Eifert signs a 2-year deal with Jacksonville. So, man, a lot of ill will and bad feelings coming out of Indy after Ebron's end to last season. The GM basically called him out for quitting on the team when he opted to have, and I don't know. I have no idea. He had to have surgery on both his ankles. So I don't know how that works as far as like, how are you walking if both ankles need to be operated on? But he could have a resurgence. Man, he was so good that last year that he was there with Luck. Obviously, the downgrade in quarterback really hurt him in 2019. But Eifert, I think Eifert's done. This doesn't move the needle for me at all with the Jacksonville signing. But Ebron could be a nice late dart throw in a, like I said, yucky tight end landscape.
Yeah, they're both going to be cheap. So, I mean, you can do worse than both those guys. I mean, I don't know why you'd want to try the Eifert thing again. I kind of hate it for Josh Oliver. I thought he was going to maybe have a chance to play more, so that probably puts a damper on his outlook. But, yeah, I mean, I'm not going to – I can't with Eifert.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, talented guy, but at some point injuries just chip away too much for there to be that same kind of explosive player there.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So
yeah, the Ebron thing, he's just living off that 10 touchdown year from, Andrew Luck and
it was 14 touchdowns.
Oh, so sorry, Josh.
Dude balled out, but definitely an outlier in terms of his production. Like I said, we talked about Jameis inflating stats. I think Luck inflated some stats that last year he played.
Yeah. So let's say you have I don't even know, 20th round pick, and you can take Eric. No. Take this back. You can take Mo Alley Cox, or you can take Jack Doyle. Who do you want more in fantasy?
Jack Doyle for sure. I think at least for a redraft for the 1 year. I think that Doyle Dynasty Mo Alley Cox probably, because I think that the Colts really like Gigantor, but you have Phillip Rivers coming in, and I think this could be a situation where some of the short kind of intermediate targets, that's where a lot of the targets are going to be had, is in the short intermediate part of the field. And Doyle was always that safety blanket for Luck, running the same offense, the same Frank Reich offense. I think we could see Jack Doyle kind of return to relevance. So that would be my answer.
How big is Doyle?
He's pretty big. I want to say he's probably like 6'3" or 6'4".
I gotcha.
Gigantor, I think it's like 7'3" though.
Yeah. He's huge.
So he is, I think, one of the tallest players. Good God. No, I'm sorry. Jack Doyle is 6'6".
Wow, Josh.
That is a lot taller than what I thought. But I really think.
How big's Cox?
So it's about, God, he's 6'6" too. So they're both about the same size. So wow. Doyle and Cox about the same size. That's impressive. I'm suddenly really turned on. I don't know. Like I'm hot. It's kind of sweaty.
Yeah. So you like Jack. You like Cox, Bob?
Yeah. Big fan.
Good deal.
Thanks, Addy. I'm going to turn your mic off again now. So this one I know has to get you excited here. Addy, you got Tajay Sharp signing a 1-year deal with Minnesota. So all your problems are fixed now in a post-Diggs world.
Yeah, Diggs who?
Man.
Yeah, this is life. Corona and Tajay Sharp.
Hey, at least, like I said, like I tweeted out a few days ago, in an alternate universe, Andrew Luck is still the quarterback for the Colts. But in this timeline, we have a washed up Phillip Rivers and coronavirus.
Yeah.
So things are really going great.
It's tough.
So, remember when Tajay Sharp, people thought he was going to be a thing, and then he just wasn't?
I don't mind it. I mean, if you've noticed, I think we're in a couple leagues sleeper leagues. Have you noticed I've picked him up in a few spots?
It'll hold. Yeah,
I'm fine. I'm fine taking him and just seeing, what happens with that rotation, seeing who becomes the number 2 there. I'm fine. I've got Johnson. I've got Tajay Sharp. So I'll see how that plays out. Hopefully they draft somebody.
Yeah, I think they will. I think they're going to use that extra pick from Buffalo to grab one of these high-end wide receivers. But to borrow a phrase from our friend Johnny the Greek, I'd be blasting Tajay Sharp out the airlock right now.
Yeah, I mean, it's not nothing that I'm too excited about. I'm not pumped to own him.
Yeah, of course not.
I just needed a roster spot, literally.
That's right. That's it.
That's all it is.
So this little bit of news here at the end is just a nod to one of Western Kentucky's own, trained by one of our good friends. George Fant signed a 3-year, $30 million contract with $14 million guaranteed with the New York Jets to be. This is straight from George. Like I said, our friend trains Mr. Fant. He is going to be their starting left tackle.
Wow. Go George.
Nice.
So, dude finally gets his opportunity.
Yeah, George has one of the coolest stories out there. If you guys don't know, he didn't play football in college. He was a awesome basketball player.
Mhm.
I remember seeing him and seeing him play at high school for Warren Central. Him and Shane Bohannon.
Oh,
They
gosh.
had some awesome matchups together, man. Shane Bohannon played for Bowling Green. That's really the two big rivals.
Mhm.
But he was a great basketball player. Was like was a power forward center type, and undersized. He's not the biggest guy for a basketball player. But yeah, played basketball all through college. Played for Western. Was really the heart of that team. Just a really high character guy. Ended up playing football. I think it was his senior year. He tried to play for Western, and they moved him to. They were going to try him out at tight end, and he didn't really get to play much.
He didn't play hardly at all. I think
But he was
played
also behind Tyler Higbee, right?
he was, yeah.
Okay, so he was behind Tyler Higbee, so he didn't get a lot of playing time. But he decided to change his body. He got some great advice from somebody. Someone saw something in him that obviously changed his life around, man. And he gained a ton of weight, and Seattle took a shot on him, and now he's got $14 million guaranteed.
Yeah, that's life-changing money right there. Plus, you get to go live in New York. Hopefully, don't go to New York and try to get your physical. I was talking to our friend who trains him right now. Yeah. And he's like, he hasn't signed the deal because he hasn't passed his physical.
Yeah.
Well, I'm certainly not going into coronavirus epicenter in New York City and going to a hospital to get a physical. So we're going to just let that ride until this whole thing is over.
Yes. Stay safe, George. We're proud of you, man. Very cool stuff.
Yeah, we'll be definitely. That was the connection, the ticket connection that I was able to go to the Seahawks-Rams game last October. So already talking to my buddy, we are going to be getting some tickets. If the season happens, we will be in New York at some point to watch a Jets game. So
very cool.
Should be a lot of fun.
Wait till that Rona dies down, Josh.
That's right. I'm going to let it die down. Maybe they just come in and napalm the whole city.
Yeah.
So let's do it, fellas. Let's look at the rookie draft review. And I am going to actually, for the folks watching, we should mention we are doing this broadcast on StreamYard. So you can actually go to our YouTube page and see the draft board that we have pulled up here for the RSO rookie draft. So I'm going to add that right now. So make sure to check us out. We'll tweet out some clips. We'll post some stuff on Instagram. But if you want to see this full segment, make sure to check out our YouTube page. So, fellas, let's look at let's just go round by round. Like I said, we're going to look at hits, misses, kind of guys that are in the middle. But I want to see if you guys agree with my assessment here round by round. So let's start with round one. You can obviously see, well, for those who are listening on the audio podcast, I'll go 1 through 12 here. So this was the Ezekiel Elliott draft. But you'll see it very quickly gets kind of grim behind Zeke. So you had Ezekiel Elliott, Laquan Treadwell, Michael Thomas, Derrick Henry, Corey Coleman, Deron Lee, the linebacker for the Jets, going at 106, Kenneth Dixon, Josh Doxson, Sterling Shepard, Will Fuller, Miles Jack, and Kenyon Drake at the 112.
Wow.
So, fellas, for the first round hits, I had 3 guys that were no-brainers: Ezekiel Elliott, Michael Thomas, Derrick Henry. Do you all agree?
Yes.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
So for guys that were, I said first round, meh, like they've been fine. They certainly haven't been stars, but I wouldn't say they've been busts either. Sterling Shepard, Will Fuller, Miles Jack, Kenyon Drake. Yeah. I don't know that there's anyone else I would add to that kind of middle of the road tier.
Yeah, that's it, man. I like it.
Bobby, any disagreement there?
Drake could maybe make it into the hit category. Maybe.
I think if he had a nice year this year, I think you could definitely move him up. But up until this point, he's been a very frustrating offensive piece to be a first round pick.
Very true.
So he's had a few good games with Arizona, and I think we all like his upside this season.
Yeah. So if you're redoing it, it goes. Who would you rather have? Would you rather have Michael Thomas or Zeke?
I think I would take Michael Thomas, especially in a dynasty league where wide receivers last longer.
Yeah, so I think it would go, at least the first 4 picks would go Michael Thomas, Zeke, Derrick Henry, and then Kenyon Drake.
I agree. That would be my top 4 as well. So we look at the busts again from this list at 102, Laquan Treadwell.
Ooh.
Maybe Addie's holding out hope. I know. But you have Laquan Treadwell, Corey Coleman, Deron Lee, Kenneth Dixon, Josh Doxson, and all busts. So you're looking at, that is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 busts in the first round. So almost half of the first round picks have been busts. And this is we have 4 years of evidence here. It's very unlikely any of these guys turn it around at this point.
Mm-hmm.
So let's look at round 2 here, fellas. Actually, a surprising number of hits. Obviously, the further we get in the draft, we're going to have some more misses. But the second round was pretty solid for this draft. So you had, starting at 201, Tyler Boyd, DeForest Buckner, Jordan Howard, Joey Bosa, CJ Prosise, Addie, that's you, Jared Goff, Devontae Booker, Pharaoh Cooper, Jalen Ramsey, Paul Perkins, Leonte Carew, and Keith Marshall. That was me. I'll own that one. I'll own the Keith Marshall pick. So, guys, on the second round hits, I had Tyler Boyd, DeForest Buckner, and Joey Bosa as the no-brainers.
Yep. And even you could probably even put Jared Goff into that category just because he's been solid as a quarterback, you know?
Yeah. Might as well put Jalen Ramsey in that category too.
Now, for fantasy purposes, do we think Jalen Ramsey has been a hit for fantasy purposes?
Not for the second round of a rookie draft.
Right, yeah.
You should never draft a corner in a rookie draft, at least in a 5-round rookie draft. I think that's a horrible idea. Unless you have some type of like intel that's telling you that you've got a Quandre Diggs that's about to be listed as a corner, but he's going to play some type of a safety role. I think that's a horrible idea. It's one of the worst picks we've seen in this league. But I mean, I think the Boyd pick is fine. Buckner is fine there too. Bosa looks like he should have probably been a top 5 pick overall. Yeah. If we look back and see like how he compares to like Nick and everything,
he probably would have been 105 in this draft.
Yeah. And I'm with Adam too. I'm fine with Goff there as a hit. He's been kind of meh, but I think he'll come around. I think he'll be all right in the long term.
Yeah, I mean, in terms of the way this draft looks right now, like honestly, he should be like a first-round pick just based on the top 2 rounds. Because if we're totaling it up, it looks like, I mean, so you'd add Boyd.
Yeah,
DeForest Buckner is probably a first as well. Bosa, and then Goff probably is going to be at the end of that.
Mm-hmm. I mean, I'd be okay with Bosa at like 105, 106 area.
I think that's where I'd be taking Bosa in this draft.
Yeah.
So let's see here. The second round, picks, I had Jordan Howard, Jalen Ramsey. I don't think Jalen Ramsey has been a bust necessarily for fantasy, but he certainly hasn't been a hit in my mind. And Jordan Howard has been solid, not spectacular, but definitely not a bust. So you have you have 6 guys. So half of the second rounds were either hits or meh. So you're looking at, for busts, CJ Prosise, Devontae Booker, Pharaoh Cooper, Paul Perkins, Leonte Carew, and Keith Marshall, all busting in the second round. So this is top 24, and we've got 11 of the top 24 picks are busts.
Nice.
So almost half of the top 24.
Not good.
Not good.
Not
great. Another point here that's important to remember, this was our first rookie draft all playing on the RSO platform. So we really didn't know what we were doing. But at the same time, we knew enough to know, looking back, that was a bad pick. So third round hits, fellas. We'll do the rundown here and then we'll get into the hits. Some interesting names to bring up here. Third round started with Hunter Henry, Paxton Lynch, Braxton Miller, Shaq Lawson, Tyler Higbee, Deion Jones, Austin Hooper, Malcolm Mitchell, Carson Wentz, Rashard Higgins, Wendell Smallwood, and Karl Joseph at the 3-12. So the hits for me were Deion Jones and Austin Hooper.
Yeah, and I'd put Hunter Henry in that mix just because he's held his value. He's been valuable in fantasy, even though he hadn't been able to stay healthy. People have a good outlook on him. He's even still being drafted as like a tight end 6 now. So that's valuable. And then also I like Carson Wentz. He's been solid, and Higbee. I think Higbee's coming on now.
Yeah, I had Carson Wentz and Higbee in the 3rd round. Like, I wouldn't say that those two guys have been hits, especially Higbee. You could make the case for Wentz, but Wentz has been pretty injured. He's not necessarily a fantasy QB that I've been like really crazy about. I also had Shaq Lawson in the 3rd round. How do you feel about that, Addy?
Yeah, he belongs next. Yeah, he's next in line for sure.
So that gives us then, I'm updating the hit percentage as we go here. So yeah, 3rd round, Shaq Lawson, Tyler Higbee, Carson Wentz, which leaves the likes of, just listen to some of these names. Guys not even in the league anymore. Paxton Lynch, Braxton Miller. You had Malcolm Mitchell, who retired because of neck injuries. Yeah. Rashard Higgins, Wendell Smallwood, Karl Joseph we mentioned. So he could be a guy that could move into the meh category at least, but so far has not been a hit.
That round 3 is a perfect example, too, of why it takes tight ends a couple years. You look at Henry, you look at Hooper, you look at Higbee. Wow, look at that, the 3 H's. It's taken them 3 or 4 years to really get going to actually have any type of IDP or fantasy relevance at all.
Yeah, so jumping down here to round 4, we started off with Alex Collins, Keanu Neal, DeAndre Washington, Leonard Floyd, speak of the devil, Mike Thomas for Los Angeles, Reggie Ragland, Miles Killebrew, Noah Spence, Sheldon Rankins, Jalen Smith, Jonathan Williams, and DeMarcus Robinson. So, guys, here I had one hit, and that was Jalen Smith. Now, we could add – I had Keanu Neal in the meh only because of the injuries. Obviously, we know this guy is a top-tier safety, but the injuries just had to take him out of the hit category for me. Also had Alex Collins in the meh category as well because he had like a year or two of relevant fantasy value.
Yeah, that's a terrible round.
Yeah, really, really bad. Bobby, thoughts here? It's yikes.
Yeah, health plays a big factor. I'm a big Keanu Neal guy. I wish that he could keep it together for 16 games because I think he's really, really talented. But, yeah, the Jalen Smith pick is pretty nice. What is that there? Was he the 10th pick there for Dallas?
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, 410.
Gosh. I mean, so like rewind that. Jeez, he's a 1st round pick probably.
I think so. Either that or like a very early second.
Yeah. But came out of, college with a ton of question marks on that knee.
Yeah.
He was a hold, yeah.
For sure. But an awesome stab there in the 4th round. But that's really about it. Kind of gross there.
It is. So get ready. It's about to get grosser. So 5th round, you had Sua Cravens. Oh, God. Yeah. Here we go. Antonio Morrison, Kelvin Taylor, Kamale Correa, Emmanuel Ogba, Jordan Payton, Robert Kimdiche, Joe Schobert, Joshua Perry, Kairis Garrett, sure, and Brandon Doughty, who was drafted by the biggest Western Kentucky football fan we know.
Yeah.
So, guys, the only hit that I had in that round was Joe Schobert.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's bad. Those last 2 rounds are really bad.
That I think is where we start to see, I think if you look as we do this more and more over the next couple weeks here, you'll see our late rounds get a little better. But my God, were we throwing some serious darts in the dark here?
Yeah, that's your first year though. That's
it is
how it goes, and that was like our first year of like Dynasty, pretty much. So, like our legit first year.
Yeah, you saw there was some smart picks there. Some guys, I think the guys that had watched more college tape were the ones like grabbing, like Keanu Neal in the 4th or Jalen Smith. Like I know the guys that made those 2 picks there are big time college football fans. So I think they had a definite leg up in this first draft here.
Yeah, that helps a ton too. That's one thing that's probably a detriment to IDP players that don't watch college. I mean, that college stuff can help you quite a bit, but here we are.
Yeah, Bobby, you've been burning some college tape here.
Here and there.
Here and there.
Here and there. Mostly CD Lamb tape and Jerry Judy tape. And
So you can put that 101.
Probably trading it. Probably going to move it.
Move it for Kamara and also Fred.
Oh,
Gonna need a little more.
I do miss Alvin. I miss seeing him on my team.
Just opening up the roster, and there he is.
Well, I paid $41 million for Todd.
He was just running back horny. He needed somebody.
Yeah.
So that gives us, fellas, a hit rate of 20%, 12 out of 60, a meh rate of 18, and a bust rate of 62% for our first draft in 2016. So, yeah, not great, Bob. In terms of building your team through the draft, you basically were fighting an uphill battle to find a contributor. So we should mention here the early rounds. It's like, oh, yeah, first 2 rounds, those are where you really should grab some guys you can plug in and play. You had, it looks like 7 out of 24 were hits, and you had 6 meh. So again, even the first 2 rounds not guaranteed to be successful. So we'll continue to do this. Next week, we'll look at the 2017 draft and see how that one shook out. But fellas, let's wrap things up here with any final words for our listeners at home. Addy, we'll start with you.
Yeah, I guess just I apologize for some of the audio issues tonight. We were having a time. We were over here. I was over here sweating in the chat. Like Josh is like, yeah, I can't hear you. You need to switch to a different mic while we were live. You know, I got kicked out of here at one point. So it's been trying. You know, it's been a trying time, but it's so nice to be back here with you boys. I've missed you
Absolutely.
guys so much.
I'm going to delete all the stuff, all the technical difficulties out of the podcast, Adam.
Yeah.
So
I figured you'd probably cut me out of the first 20 minutes.
absolutely. You're just going to pop in randomly. It's like, what's Adam doing here? I didn't know he was here.
Hi, Adam.
I know. I hate it because I had some really good stuff.
You really didn't, though.
I was 100% sober at that point.
Absolutely. So, Bobo, it looks like, are you coming to us from your laundry room? We're trying to figure out the setup here.
I am, man. Straight in the laundry room. It's the quietest room in the house. I started with the door closed. Now it's open. So, yeah, that's concerning. But I think I still hear kids. So that should be fun. Hope it's not like kids outside or something. But
Yeah.
go to bed.
Just go to bed. Don't, yeah. I feel like coyotes might be a problem out where you are, Bobo.
Yeah. We talked about that a couple episodes ago. There was definitely a dead dog from a couple coyotes the other day.
Damn.
They got him a good one.
That's right. Well, yeah, good to be back. Maybe next week we'll be doing a sode in the Sode Shack. We do miss our humble abode very much. It is very lonely and sad out there. And hopefully we'll be able to get back with you guys here soon. But
your wife doesn't want me around. She thinks I'm contagious.
Yeah, we think you're coronavirus patient 0 for Warren County.
You can see it in his eyes. He's got the Rona.
Yeah, you had the Rona for a long time. If it's based on your eyes, maybe since the beginning of the podcast.
Yeah,
I will say though, to kind of pull back the scope a little bit here, Big Three got some things cooking behind the scenes, fellas. Addy, as our favorite Hanks child would say,
big things.
Big things in the works. So stay tuned. We're not going to share any details right now, but we are making some moves behind the scenes to bring you all some even better content, even more content moving forward. So
it's that Ethernet cord.
It is
1,500-foot Ethernet cord.
Right.
That is the upgrade to the Sode Shack for this year. I'm going to make it happen at some point. We are running an Ethernet cord from my router in my office to the shed.
Mm-hmm.
I say we, as in Bobby. I am going to purchase the Ethernet cord, and Bobby is going to lay it for us.
We'll do it.
That manual labor. Bobby, any final words here before we sign off and you go look for your children?
No, just hope to see you again next week.
We'll be together in some form or fashion
Somehow.
once Addy gets a coronavirus test.
That's right. I don't have it, guys. I might have it.
You might have it as he holds up a Corona and makes like a dad joke about having that coronavirus.
I wish that'd be nice. It's just one of these Sierra Nevada.
You said that perfectly. Didn't butcher that pronunciation.
That's what it's called. Sierra Nevada Cerveza, Josh. So
you sure?
You owe me an apology.
Why do I mute your mic again? Hold on.
You owe me an apology.
Remove from stream.
That's
All right.
it.
Thanks again, folks, for tuning in. We'll be back with you guys next week. Be sure to check us out. Addy, we've been working on the gram. So go check us out over on Instagram and Twitter. I think both places. Correct me if I'm wrong here, Addy, at Big 3 IDP.
Yes, for sure. We're at like 1,200 followers on the gram. Big Tinks. We're at like 7 now. We're like 630 on the Twitter. We're gonna keep on pumping that thing up. So yeah, man, we're really happy with how everything is going. Haven't even been doing this for a year yet, but we're still having a blast. We're still, we're closer than ever. I mean, guys,
even though we're far apart.
Absolutely. The sky is the absolute limit for the Big 3, baby.
And we'll leave you all with that. Go check us out. Leave us a review on iTunes, and we'll see y'all next week. Stay safe. Addy, go get that test.